Good evening, District 40 Toastmasters and friends. Welcome to our February podcast episode. My name is Althea Latang, and I am one fourth of the podcast team. I'll turn things over to our next co host to introduce themselves.
Hey, everybody.
40? Oh, sorry.
Go for it.
No
I love
more.
the excitement.
All right, greetings, District 40. I am Michael Pope. Happy to be here with you all today. We got an exciting show for you. Passing it on to Miss Bertina.
That's right.
Thank you, Mr. Pope. I do appreciate that. Hello, District 40, and welcome to our February 27th podcast. Sit back and enjoy. We've got a live show coming for you.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome, District 40 Toastmasters and distinguished guests. This is Scott Garver here from rainy Tuesday night in Columbus, Ohio, and we're ready to get this thing started.
Yes, we are. Welcome, everyone. I'll go ahead and read our podcast mission statement. And our mission is to educate and to entertain our listeners and viewers by providing a positive and supportive experience to help our listeners and viewers develop stronger communication and leadership skills. How is everyone doing today?
Fantastic.
Peachy.
Peachy, fantastic. I'm loving it. Like Scott mentioned today, it's raining here in Columbus. What's the weather like in Cincinnati?
Nice.
Yeah.
Little windy, but nice.
Yeah.
Warming up a little, which is good.
We love that. Hey, Scott, I think we were the only ones that got that snow over the weekend, huh?
Yeah. It didn't last long, though. It was here one day and then gone the next.
It was for sure. Well, you guys, I'm sorry, Bertina, I didn't want to touch you.
I was just going to say it's like 65 here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely been warm here.
Yeah, for sure. I'm loving it. Spring is on its way, you guys. I'm excited for that. Well, we have a wonderful episode planned for you all this evening, and we're really excited to invite a wonderful special guest. I'm going to read the bio for our special guest, who is none other than Conor Cunneen. He is Irishman Speaks. He is an accredited speaker and a DTM. Conor is exiled in Chicago. I gotta ask him about that one, where he says the Guinness is good, the natives are friendly, and he has been force-fed corned beef and green beer. He says he's had more corned beef and green beer in Chicago than he's ever had in Ireland. This man is an acclaimed speaker. He's an educator, an author, and an award-winning humorist who provides powerful and memorable business programs to improve the 3 Ps: people, performance, and productivity, with a smile, of course. A skill that he has honed as a member of Toastmasters for over 20 years. Conor has been working on his Chicago accent for more than 2 decades, and he's been failing miserably at it. A multiple author and a Chicago Humorous Speaker of the Year, Conor is a very proud recipient, of the President's Gold Medal for volunteer service for the work he does with job seekers. He likes to play Metallica really loud, which his bride just absolutely does not appreciate. Now, before we bring Conor into the room with us to have a nice conversation, I want to play a video for you all.
Hey, isn't it amazing what you find when you're walking the land? A camera right here in front of me. Does it work? It does. Let's see. Yeah. I didn't break it. No, okay, all right. Hi, Toastmasters District 40. Conor Cunneen, Irishman Speaks here. What? The other side? Oh yeah, it is. Conor Cunneen, Irishman Speaks. Delighted to be presenting at your 2024 district conference. I'll be doing a keynote on adding humor to your presentation. It will provide you with some really down-to-earth tips, tricks, and techniques that will help you to add humor to your presentation. And if you're involved in the humor speech competitions, help you to do even better than you're already doing. One of the tricks I will be working on is I will provide you with an acronym that spells out the word laugh. And what? Upside down again. This printer always prints upside down. LAUGH. That acronym will provide you with 5 really good concepts to add humor to your presentation. But to find out what the acronym, or even to find out what the acronym stands for, you will have to attend the conference. And I look forward to seeing you there. I will also be doing a presentation on what Mark Twain can learn you about public speaking. We'll provide you with a video on that shortly. But right now, I'm off to walk the land again. Stay well, stay safe, and see you at the District 40 conference in 2024. I understand there's actually 27 cities named Dayton in the United States, and I really hope I do make it to your proper city of Dayton, Oregon, okay? What? It's Dayton, Ohio. I knew it was something beginning with a no. Anyway, we'll see you there, all right? Stay well, stay safe. Cheers. Conor Caneen, Irishman Speaks. Ha!
Yeah.
Got it right that time.
Oh my goodness. District 40, please join me in welcoming to our podcast episode this month, Conor Caneen, DTM. Welcome.
Thank you. Delighted to be here. I had forgotten all of the things I had promised to speak on, so I'm going to have to go back and look at that video again.
We're going to hold you to it, Conor. How are you doing? How's the weather in Chicago?
It is absolutely gorgeous at the moment. I was out walking earlier and beautiful, but it was about 70 degrees, I think. And now it's going to pop down to something like 20 degrees. So
Oh, goodness.
quite the change, quite the change.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Sounds
Well,
like
we
Ohio.
ready? Yeah, just like Ohio. It's up and down.
But not Oregon.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
Really important, really important.
Yeah,
So we
indeed.
learned in your bio that you are a member of Toastmasters and been a member for over 20 years. Why don't you share with us a little bit about your home club?
Yeah, with the club I'm now involved with, Althea, is Windy City Professional Speakers Toastmasters Club. And I've been involved with that club for probably, actually about 15 years, I'd say. It's a totally different club to the normal Toastmasters club, where in this club, you can do pieces from your keynote or from a presentation, can be more than 7 minutes. So I could do a 15-minute piece. That's the maximum we kind of allow at any of the meetings. And then there's about 11 to 20 other professional speakers or trainers who take out their whips and whip you to death.
Oh,
saying, I don't really know how you ever make it as a professional speaker. And then they say, you should give up now. But then they kind of say, like all Toastmasters clubs, they lift you, they motivate you, give you good insights, etc. But the difference in the club is that one is you don't do the 7 minutes unless you want to. And the second thing is that the round robin is really good. And as you know from your own Toastmasters clubs, one person doing an evaluation is good, but it really is not as good as it. We allow 15 minutes then for that round robin evaluation as well. So you get a really good insight into how your presentation was received, how to improve it, etc. And I've got over the years some wonderful little gems that have helped me to add good content and good insight and good humor to the presentations as a result of that round robin format.
Yeah, wow. It sounds like a boot camp, so to speak.
Well, it is, you know what I say, actually, I tell people it is the best low-cost speaker lab in all of Chicago. And I would actually
Speaker lab.
in all of the United States, really. It is an excellent speaker lab, and
I like that.
I have benefited a lot from it. It's interesting, when I got involved in it first, it was really on its last legs. I think we had about 4 people attending the meetings quite regularly. but we encouraged a few others. I encouraged a few others to get involved in it, and we now have. I think membership is about 30 at this stage.
Wow.
We had a meeting last night. I didn't attend or on Sunday night. We meet on Sunday nights as well, which is unusual, for 3 hours. Zoom is our hybrid. That's what we're doing.
Okay.
And we had, I think, maybe about 12 at last Sunday's meeting. So the numbers are normally quite good, and it's always a good meeting to liaise with your colleagues and get other ideas, as well as how other people are presenting it and presenting their concepts and stories.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Hey, Scott, do you have any questions for Connor this evening?
Hey, Connor.
Hi, Scott.
How are you?
Doing good.
I noticed in your bio that you mentioned that the Guinness was good in Chicago. My question for you is along those lines. What are your feelings about all the stout options that are at our fingertips with all these craft breweries that have exploded in the U.S.? Or are you strictly a Guinness supporter, or do you dabble a little bit when it comes to brews?
Well, it depends. When it comes to draft stout, it has to be Guinness. But the problem here in the United States, Scott, is that only 0.002% of bars know how to pour Guinness properly.
All right.
You need to go to Ireland or some good Irish pubs in Chicago where they pour it properly. And basically the logic behind that, for those of you who don't know it, Guinness has to be poured in a 2-stage process. And the way it happens, Michael, is that the barman will take the pint glass, fill it to about 2/3 full, put it down there on the bar top, and you just wait and you watch and you see those beautiful little Guinness orphan bubbles finding their way to some Guinness wonderland. And that's what creates the lovely Guinness head. And then once that is settled, the barman would pick it up, he'll fill it to the top and hand it to the drooling customer with reverence. And that's how it should be done.
Every time.
The drooling customer, right?
So, but the problem here in the United States is that most bars think it's kind of a Budweiser or something like that. So they kind of, well, here you go, Governor. So we don't like that. But in response to your question, though, Michael, I actually do like bottled stouts from the different breweries around the place here in the United States. And there's a couple of good breweries out of, is it Michigan? The Edward Fitzgerald is a good porter, which I do like. Or Edmund Fitzgerald, I think it is. And there's a few other ones as well. So
that's a
I mix and match kind of thing. Yeah.
That's great. So let me ask you this. I'm actually, my grandparents are from Ireland directly. So I have a little bit of Irish heritage in me. And so is green beer a thing? I've never been back to the motherland, though. I've never been back to visit Ireland. Is green beer just an American tradition thing that's made up here? Or if you had your choice, what would be your alcoholic drink of choice to imbibe on other than a Guinness?
It's like blasphemy here. Oh my gosh.
What's in that cup, Scott?
Yeah.
Well, let me take a breath. In my intro, we'll probably do this at the intro actually for the meeting. I do say that Conor Cunneen is an Irishman, happily exiled in Chicago, where the Guinness is good, the people are friendly, and he's been force-fed more corned beef and green beer than he ever had in Ireland.
Right.
And I got to tell you, any self-respecting Irishman would not drink green beer because that's I know what it is. And as for corned beef, I swear, I'm not joking, you know. I have had corned beef probably twice in my life in Ireland. Wow. And then you come over here and you get force-fed it for every event you do during March. And I kind of have my ears turning red like halfway through the month of March with the amount of corned beef that we eat. So I've kind of developed a taste for that, but it's one of those ones where the myth is not necessarily the same as the actual reality in Ireland.
Gotcha.
Excuse me.
Where did that even come from, though?
Sorry?
Where did that even come from? The corned beef.
I think that came from because corned beef, it tends to be the toughest part of the cow or the animal. So with the Irish over here, also with the Jewish population, I think, and maybe the Poles as well, they used to just go for the cheapest cuts of meat and find different ways to flavor it. And I think the Irish got famous for spicing their beef or putting the corn flavor, whatever they into. So that's probably where it came from. So all the Americans will go back to Ireland looking to have a wonderful piece of corned beef. They kind of go, "Hey man, where's the corned beef?" And it's not there.
Where's the beef?
Yeah,
Where's the beef?
So you're saying Irish are cheap then, right? I'm offended now.
So
my wife won't let me have any cheap beef in my house. It's filet or nothing else.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm the same way, Scott. Like, I wouldn't touch anything else. Nothing. No.
Bertina, did you have any questions for Connor this evening?
I did. Welcome, Connor. Thank you.
Hey, Bertina, how are you?
I am good. I am good. I love how you came in and you addressed each one of us by our names, which is something that you really deem important as a part of your CHAPS acronym.
Ooh.
Can you expand on that for us, for our audience today?
This woman,
like she's got my trade secrets.
She's done her research. Wow.
I love it.
Hey, very good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was up in the middle of the night watching videos.
All right. I couldn't go to sleep, so I watched Connor stuff. Then I was able to go to sleep.
And I was tossing and turning.
This is not the right kind of image I want to try and create. He put me to sleep.
Oh, goodness.
Right. This actually, but as a business speaker, the brand is Irishman Speaks. And my mission in general is to improve people, performance, and productivity with a smile. And I wouldn't have been able to develop this career without all of the ideas and support I got from Toastmasters over the years. But the way I improve people, performance, and productivity with a smile, Bertina, is that I try to provide good content, good research material, good stories, and then I weave humor into it as well to create the kind of axle grease for people to remember the messaging and to enjoy the presentation as well. So the CHAPS acronym is one that I talk about when I'm talking to clubs. I tell them, and we take this now for all of your Toastmasters here. This is a brilliant way for you to create a better member and club experience and encourage newcomers to come back. So the acronym spells CHAPS, CHAPS. And the basic idea is that it's based around 5 micro goals. And we'll ask you, Michael, we'll ask you a question. Michael, when you achieve a goal, how do you feel?
I feel great and I celebrate.
Okay, he feels great and he celebrates. All right. And that's the same with most people. So when we achieve a goal, we feel great and we celebrate. And the reason why that happens is because we've got neurochemicals in our brains, in our brain. One of them is known as dopamine, which is the feel-good chemical. And when you achieve a goal, the dopamine kicks in just for a couple of seconds or even longer, and it helps you to feel better about yourself. So what I suggest to people when I'm talking to them about employee engagement, about teamwork, or in this case, about creating a great Toastmasters club experience, let's look at the CHAPS micro goals. And the basic idea here is that if you implement these micro goals, you're going to feel better about yourself, and your incoming club members are going to feel better as well. So let's run through it for a few minutes. So, excuse me, Scott, it would be fair to say that if someone compliments you, you feel better about yourself.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, all right. And Althea, would it be fair to say that if someone compliments you, you feel closer attachment to that person in general?
Yes, in general, yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. So let's flip it. Scott, what do you think would happen if you compliment someone? Are they going to feel more motivated?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And Althea, if you compliment someone, they're going to appreciate you more?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So here's the first micro goal that everyone can do. And the basic idea is that set yourself a micro goal at the next club meeting that I will compliment one person at that meeting. I don't just mean that was a great speech, but do something else. Or if a new member comes in, find some reason to compliment them. And you can say something like, wow, I admire the way that you don't really care about your appearance. I mean, something like that. No, that wouldn't be a good one. No,
Wait, what?
no.
Is that more of a
That wouldn't be a good
backhanded
one. No. No, that would not be a good one. But seriously, though, what you could do is say to that person, "I'm really glad you came. I love the outfit you're wearing," or something like that, or some reason to compliment them. No, if you set that as a micro goal, what's going to happen is you'll say to yourself, "Hey, I've actually achieved my micro goal here at the club. I feel better about myself." But the person that you have said the compliment to is obviously going to feel better and happier as well. Dopamine is kicking in for them. It's a win-win situation. So that's the first element of CHAPS. Second element of CHAPS is H, which is for here. What did he say? He said here. Hear the words thank you. Right. So I'm going to set myself a micro goal that at the club meeting, I will do something for one of the members or for the guests where the result will be they will say thank you to me. Now, what happens there? What happens there is I set it as a micro goal, and I know that if I implement these 5 CHAPS concepts in my club, I'm going to have a better club experience for our members. So I say do something for one of the members, maybe just move a table or something like that. I hear the words thank you from them. I realize, hey, I've achieved my micro goal. I feel better about myself. But the person I've actually addressed with the gesture is going to feel better and more welcome as well. A is for address. And the basic idea here behind address is that, by the way, let me clarify here, Michael. When I say address, I do not mean that
long or short
chiffon outfit that I was wearing over the weekend. Okay,
oh my.
Don't see it on Facebook. That is not the address I'm talking about here. By address here, I mean address people with their name when you're in conversation with them. And for each of you here, if you're in sales, if you're in customer service, if you're in any organization or where you're interacting with people, it is, I think, fair to say that the most powerful word in the conversation I'll have with you, Scott, is the word Scott. The most powerful word in the conversation I'll have with you, Althea, is the word Althea, because it makes a real connection. And if during your club meeting you have a new guest coming in, you address them with their name once or twice, you're just going to create a more visceral connection with them and make them feel better, happier, etc., and more welcome. What you've done is you've heard yourself achieve another micro goal, A for address, but you've also kind of got a win-win with the other person. Then P is for positive. And the basic idea here behind P for positive is that every one of us has been in work environments where Debbie Downer or her twin brother Danny Downer just sucks the energy out of the room. But if they can suck the energy out of the room, you can pump energy back into the room as well, and you can create positivity. And one of the ways to create positivity is to set yourself a micro goal that I will use a positive word or a positive phrase in my conversation with a new member or with members of the club. And if you can get into the habit of using positive words like amazing, brilliant, cheerful, delightful, energetic, friendly, Guinness. As Scott knows, Guinness is a positive word for the Irish community, okay?
Yes.
What is going to happen with that club, if you start using those positive words and encourage your members on the leadership of that club to use them as well, people are going to see that club as being amazing, brilliant, cheerful, delightful, energetic, friendly. Let's go for a Guinness or your beer of choice or beverage of choice kind of thing. But what is happening is that if you set yourself a micro goal, that I will use a positive word or a positive phrase, and when you use it, you realize, hey, I've used that, I achieved my micro goal. It's going to make you feel better, the other person feel better. And quite honestly, I do believe that the person who uses positive words and positive phrases in general is reinforcing their feel-good mood and their feel-good attitude.
Mhm.
It's a simple way for you to feel better when you're not feeling particularly good. I really do believe that. And then the final letter in the CHAPS acronym. So we got compliment, hear the words thank you, address people with their name, positive words, and the final letter is S, and S stands for smile.
Mhm.
And the basic idea here is that my goal is to put a smile on someone's face. And when I put a smile on someone's face, what am I going to do? Smile back. Yeah. So it's a win-win situation as well. And one of the things I do actually suggest when I'm speaking to corporate, but this also applies to the Toastmaster environment. So in your clubs ND40, do you actually open with a joke of the day? Does any club do that?
Some do, most don't.
Some do, right. There's a really good logic to doing that. And that is, I suggest this to corporate as well. So if you, what I say to corporate clients is that, let's say you've got your weekly sales meeting, where you've got the same agenda week after week after week, and we're just going through mainly problems. That basically is what corporate life is all about. But I do suggest to clients that the first thing that they should put in an agenda when they're with a group of people that they're comfortable with is a really bad joke. Okay?
Oh, jeez.
And the basic idea here is that the worse the joke, now you can just Google on the Bing kind of thing, the worse the joke, the more groans you're going to get. And people will say, oh, Bertine, I can't believe you came up with that one. That's even worse than the one Althea said last week. And that was really bad compared to what Michael told the previous kind of thing. So, Scott, you're on the hop for next week's bad joke.
Oh, boy.
Okay? But the logic, though, is that when you get people laughing, it does relax the atmosphere. I say when I'm talking to sales clients as well, if you're making sales presentations consistently and you've got the opportunity to do a reasonably lengthy sales presentation, it can be boring as heck, or it can be useful, partly because you've dropped in 2 or 3 little humorous quips or lines into it. And that's why I think the Toastmasters clubs that have joke of the day, well, they start off with a better kind of a vibe than the clubs that don't do it in general, I think. So that's the CHAPS concept that Bertina already knows about. So you could have left Bertina for the last 10 minutes.
Love it.
Thank you. I'm going to pass it on back to Althea.
Yeah, thank you. Michael, do you have any questions for Connor?
I do, a whole list of them.
Oh, boy.
Look, Connor, I love the CHAPS acrostic. I use acrostics all the time, so that's priceless. So speaking of a smile, so how do you balance humor with delivering serious, impactful messages and with your speeches and workshops?
Right. It's a good question, and it pops up from time to time. I do think, Michael, that almost every single audience I'm speaking to, every audience I'm speaking to can benefit from getting humor. And I think a lot of the time is that we just assume that one audience is going to be tougher or less humorous than another audience. So my favorite audiences to work with are nurses and healthcare, okay? And I speak a lot to oncology groups, cancer survivorship groups, etc. And I don't know if anyone here is in healthcare, but nurses have a really stressful job. They have a wonderful sense of humor as well. And the goofball stories I tell with a message really resonate with them. Now, I can take the same messages, and my most popular keynote is titled The Gift of Gab. Gab is an acronym for goals, attitude, behavior. Goals, attitude, behavior. And I can do the kind of thing, creating a great teamwork through the gift of Gab, or creating great leadership through the gift of Gab, or creating a great sales experience through the gift of Gab. And I can just customize the speech a little bit, take the core framework, but adapt it to each client. But for each client, though, they don't want 65 minutes, 55 minutes of just solid material. Because no matter how good it is, you're going to turn off a little bit. So what I do, Michael, is I try to make sure that I understand the client. And then what I do is I think back over all of the material that I've got. We'll be talking about this when I'm doing the program on adding humor to your presentation. This is the best device that you can actually have to just capture all of the humor. So I've got a lot of different anecdotes, quips, etc., that I would be able to drop in. So what I would suggest, Michael, is that, I mean, good Lord, even at funerals, eulogies, you do know that people laugh a lot, because they laugh because of the stories they tell about the bereaved person, and it's done out of a sense of pain, but also a sense of kind of love. And eulogies, that you can even drop some humorous lines into eulogies as well. So there's almost, all right, you don't do it in negotiations with the, let's say, Middle East, probably you don't do that. But and again, if they come in with a different and more better mindset, maybe it might make a difference. But that wouldn't necessarily suggest it there. But almost every place else, you can drop humor into the presentation and into the meeting as well. Just make sure that it is appropriate.
Yeah.
Thank you. So one last question. So Connor, what was your journey like joining Toastmasters and then transitioning into a professional speaker? Or were you already a professional speaker when you joined Toastmasters?
No, it was kind of an amalgamation of everything, Michael. I came over here. I was VP of marketing with a company called Best Foods Mayonnaise, Hellmann's Mayonnaise. And we were taken over by Unilever. And a few years after Unilever took us over, they wanted me to go back to Europe. And for family reasons, my daughter had just started in Wake Forest in North Carolina. And I didn't want to mess her up again, kind of thing, because I dragged her over here as a 14-year-old, and she was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But I decided that I didn't want to go back to Europe and mess the family up again. So I told Unilever, who had taken us over, this is a big company now, I told them to get stuffed. They told me to get stuffed, and we had a mutual stuffing. Okay? So, but it was an amicable stuffing, though, at the same time. And I started to get involved with doing some presentations on food service, marketing, and industry knowledge to clients in Europe. Did a couple of them here. I, at that stage, decided to get involved with Toastmasters. And also the other thing that really, really helped me, Michael, was that I got involved with an outplacement company after I left Unilever. So I went into this organization and they said, Connor, we'll help you build your resume and your career again, which I didn't really want to do. I was sick of corporate. So a couple of weeks after being with that organization, I realized just how painful and frustrating job search was for most people. And I just said to that organization, look, I'll do a lunch and learn and give you some ideas on staying motivated during job search. I think it was going to be a one-off. They actually thought it was quite good, so they invited me back the second week kind of thing, and the third week. And then what I did was I started getting involved in the local community groups, helping people who were in job search. And I found I had messages that motivated them and resonated with them. And when I took that together with joining Toastmasters roughly around the same time, my business knowledge, all of those kind of combined for me to be principal of a business that was geared towards food service at the time. But I realized after a while, I kind of morphed into Irishman Speaks. And so that probably took maybe 3 years after I left corporate before Irishman Speaks was born or birthed, that kind of thing. And since then, we've been out walking the land, and you can see how bad the roadway is like. So I haven't actually made millions yet to be able to pave the roadway properly.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
So Connor, has it always been humor for you? Has humor always been your niche?
I wouldn't say so. No, let me put it this way. I realized as I got involved in speaking that, well, the humor was really, really important, and I started to craft it. I suppose, Althea, that I remember when I was in high school, I lived in a small little village in County Cork, Ireland. My dad was the local doctor, and I was, let's say, put it this way, my parents, I think, would have referred to me as being a high-spirited student. My teachers might have referred to me as being a little S, but I won't actually use that word, okay?
Creative.
Yes,
A sweetheart.
right, yeah. So I probably also was always kind of buoyant and upbeat, but that didn't necessarily mean humor. But what I now do, and we'll talk about it when we're doing the program on adding humor to your presentation, you've got to work at it.
Yeah.
And what I will be telling the group, I'm telling you now, is that you don't have to be funny to be funny. What? Yeah. You don't,
Mind
you don't
blown.
have to be funny to be funny. What you need to do is decide, I want to add humor to my presentation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to capture the humor all around me. That's what we'll talk about. And if you can get into the habit of capturing the humor all around you, it will help you to and record it, as I'd say, on the iPhone or on your notepad, whatever it is. Over a period of time, you're going to get sufficient little anecdotes and quips that you will be able to drop into your presentation at some stage. So that's really how my answer was. Humor always important. I think I probably was always a good laugh, I suppose. And I would also probably say, Michael, that in my corporate life, especially in a button-down organization like Unilever, they couldn't handle the Irish guy and his idiosyncratic kind of ways. So, that might have been one of the reasons why it was best that we parted as well.
A great.
Yes, yes. So I think you kind of hinted a little bit there, Connor. What can District 40 look forward to when you come to visit us in April during the spring conference?
God alone knows. Well, I suppose apparently I've added promised to do a program on adding humor to your presentation, and we'll start with a core lesson for everyone who thinks that they're not funny. You don't have to be funny to be funny. And if you consider that, if you're making a presentation of, let's say you're in business, you're making a 25-minute, 30-minute presentation. If you can get your audience laughing just 2 or 3 times in that presentation, they're going to think, hey, that was a nice humorous speech, and it also helps to grease the axle and get your message across, etc. So I provide a number of different concepts and ideas as to how you can add humor to your presentation. We won't go into it this evening, but I just ask one question. Let's see, we'll go to Michael. Michael, if I say something that I believe is funny, I'm looking for a 5-letter word now from you. If I say something that I believe is funny, what do I hope that you will do?
Laugh?
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah.
Hey, this man is pretty good. All right. Okay. So it's laugh. Laugh. No,
Hold
so
on, wait a minute.
Laugh. Okay. You were talking about acronyms and acrostics earlier, Michael. I've got an acronym, LAUGH, that provides 5 concepts that everyone can do that will help them to add humor to their presentation.
Yes.
And it's basically based around the concept of capturing the humor around you rather than creating the humor. I do create some of my own humor from time to time. I do a little bit of open mic comedy. I'm not very good at it. It's different. Open comedy is different to humorous speaking. But what I do is I do try to create some of my own humor, but we don't need to talk about that very much at the conference. We can just talk about how you can capture the humor around you and how you can then drop that into your speeches to add humor to your presentation. And apparently I'm also doing something on Mark Twain. Oh, can I agree to all of this? Right.
We're looking forward to it.
So the other program we're going to do is what Mark Twain can learn you about public speaking. And the basic reason why I use that word learn is kind of symptomatic of the idiom that Twain used to use, kind of thing. And I decided to drop that in for the program title. And guess what?
What?
How many lessons am I going to provide in this program on Mark Twain?
5.
Keep going.
8.
One
7.
more.
10.
9.
9, yay! Now we've a question for you. How many letters are in Mark Twain?
9?
Wow, yeah. Now, the next question is, guess what the acronym is for the 9 lessons about what Mark Twain can learn you about public speaking?
M-A-R-K.
Mark Twain. How about that?
Unbelievable. Yeah. Yeah. So
Some-
9 lessons that I've taken from Twain's speeches, his writings. Twain was an incredibly successful speaker. We can go into this in more detail at the conference, but in 1895, 96, 97 kind of thing, he actually traveled around the globe, speaking in places like Australia, New Zealand, India, South Africa, and Mauritius, and places like that, to try and get himself out of debt. And he packed the houses everywhere, same in the United States. So we've taken his readings, his writings, his speeches, and we've created 9 lessons that spell the acronym Mark Twain.
Love
Love
that.
it.
Looking
Cool.
forward to that.
Yeah.
All right, Scott, what you got, buddy?
All right, Connor, I love music. Now,
Okay.
how in the heck did you become a Metallica fan? And if you had to choose, what would be your favorite genre of music?
Ooh.
You know what? I'm pretty kind of, what's the word, Catholic in my music. I like everything. I like heavy metal. I really like Metallica. I like Springsteen would be my favorite performer. And we're actually going back to Ireland in May, and we'll see him in Cork, my hometown.
Nice.
I saw him twice
Nice.
last year. And you know, I do actually talk about Springsteen at times in my presentations, because that man has and all good concert artists have the ability to be able to drag the audience in, kind of let them go, make them feel good, bring them back down again, kind of thing. And the pacing as well of the concert is important. And I actually do say that a good speech should be something like a good concert. Can I start slow or fast? I don't mind, but then you change the pacing again. You go high, you go low, kind of thing. So he would be my favorite performer. And I know, even though I'm a metalhead, I like country music, mainly because country music artists, their ability to tell stories is absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's one, I'll tell you one thing, Scott. I was dragged to, can we keep this between ourselves?
Yes.
I was dragged to a Barry Manilow concert once by my wife.
Barry Manilow.
Right, Barry, I tell you, yes, I know. No, we went with about 4 other couples. So we went into the United Center here in Chicago, where Manilow was speaking. Before we went in, I got a large brown paper bag. I cut 2 Y holes in it, and I walked into the United Center with that on me, saying, my street cred won't handle me going to see Barry Manilow. So
Oh no.
I saw Barry Manilow a few years ago too. He put on a good show. My grandma was a huge fan, so we took her to see him at Nationwide Arena here in Columbus, and
yeah,
he put on a good show for an old man, that's for sure.
well, I mean, I actually do give him credit for that. He knows how to. It's like the good speech I was talking about. He knows how to pace it and bring the crowd up, etc. You give them all of the major hits. You give some new material as well. But it's about just being able to connect with the audience, and a good concert group, our artists can do that, just like a good speech can do it as well.
Yes,
That's great.
for sure. Bertina, you have a question there for Connor?
I do. My next question is, how were you introduced to Toastmasters?
Ooh.
And why do you continue to stay after you become the Irishman?
Irishman.
Irishman speaks, yeah.
I'm not sure how I got involved with Toastmasters here in the US. I do recall when I was in Ireland, I heard of this group called Toastmasters. Didn't get involved with it at the time. But I think when I started to do some presentations here in the United States, I mean, as a sales and marketing executive, I had no problem getting in front of an audience and getting good reaction. But I also knew that if I wanted to make a living out of this, I needed to kind of hone my skills. I did get some coaching all right from one or two people here in the Chicagoland area, but I heard about the Toastmasters group, and I was lucky enough to get involved with a really good Toastmasters club initially here in the Naperville area. It's called Naperville Toastmasters. There's a few other clubs here as well. And one or two of the people in that club were really solid evaluators. And also the other thing I do remember is that after I did my first icebreaker, I just got a little the railroad passes kind of thing written out. I got some really uplifting positive comments that time that kind of made me feel hey kind of so that was kind of enough to motivate me to keep going. And I think, I mean, it's interesting. Toast, like every other organization, like every other company or department within a company, they all have this different cultures. And one club can be kind of very, very welcoming and informal and hospitable. Another club might just be kind of straight-laced, down to earth, etc. And it depends on finding the right club. And I was lucky enough to find the right club, Naperville Toastmasters. And I was a member of that probably for maybe 10 years. But one of the things that I did find then, though, as I was kind of getting on, was that you needed to get different evaluations and different ideas from people. So I moved around to a few different clubs, but the core club now is the Windy City Professional Speakers Toastmasters Club.
Thank you. That's all I have. Michael?
Yeah. So Connor, let me ask you, so I know that you're an accredited speaker. So for our audience, can you explain what it means to be an accredited speaker? And then let us know, why did you choose to pursue that certification?
Right. Accredited speaker means that you give me your credit card details and I'll speak.
Goodness.
I will be a part of that.
So accredited speaker, it's essentially is people who are involved in business, who speak for their business, or who are speakers, who are members of Toastmasters. And the way it works is that you got to give a short video to the accredited speaker judging panel and tell them that you want to become an accredited speaker. You give your business message or storytelling related to your business. You just don't give a normal Toastmasters speech. If you get past phase 1, then you go to phase 2, which I think is normally at the international conference these days. And if you get that, you're deemed to be an accredited speaker, which suggests that you are able to walk and talk and chew gum at the same time, basically, at the highest level. And why did I go for it? Went for it just because I wanted kind of to feel affirmation maybe from my peers in Toastmasters. I would not say that it is something that has made any difference to my getting business in terms of using it as a promotional vehicle. But what it has done is the journey of getting to accredited speaker made me a much, much better speaker. And that, I think, is one of the key elements of it. You've got to, it's like, I'm sure some of you are doing competitions, or have done competitions from time to time. And you spend more time honing that speech than you do your normal 7-minute speech. And when you get past the club, you start working and polishing it again. And then when you go to region or district kind of thing, it's exactly that kind of situation where you work harder and harder. And it's the same with the Toastmasters accredited speaker. I mean, we're meant to be the best of the best. We've just got the designation. There's other people out there that are just as good as us on the whole in the whole Toastmasters environment and universe, but we get that designation. But getting that designation, it's hard to get. It really is. I mean, I got turned down 4 times for it. So I wasn't paying the judges enough. And I mean, I did not understand the Chicago way. But I love the reaction when people hear that you're an accredited speaker and they kind of think you can walk on water. And hey, it's like I'm like everyone else. It's some people just haven't got the AS designation, but it's a good journey for someone who speaks as part of their job. You can do it, or if you're a speaker, you can do it as well. And that would be simplistically the kind of criteria that is required to apply for accredited speaker.
Thank you.
District 40, this is what we have to look forward to. Connor,
Yeah.
you are simply, I've literally been smiling the entire time. So
my
you
job.
have accomplished, you've done your job, sir. Yes, you have. Especially in a world where we are faced with so many different things that can turn that smile upside down. I am grateful to be in a space where I can hear from you and you can share your journey with us. And I'm looking forward to learning more about how we can infuse humor into our presentation during the conference in April. So,
Right.
behalf of District
Laugh.
40, yes, laugh, Mark Twain. I'm looking forward to all of the acronyms. I got my notepad and I'm ready.
Right.
But
Yeah.
on behalf of District 40, we want to sincerely thank you for joining us this evening on our episode. And we are looking forward to seeing you in April. Any
All
parting
right.
words for District 40 before we let you go?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you in Dayton, Oregon, in the.
All
But
right.
the one quick little point there, though, is that it's about doing your research. And I saw, is there any? I did a little bit of research to see whether there was any other Daytons around the place, and as I indicated, there's a lot of them. But that simple little piece of research allowed me then to drop the humor in to
Yes.
the promo
Yes.
kind of thing, and that's
Yes.
important as a speaker. You've got to do your research, and the better you do your research and can apply it to your speech, the more likely you are that you're going to get asked back and get another event from that client or from that event planner. But I'm really
Yes.
looking forward to it. I'm going to start walking the road shortly. And
Yes.
I'll pack my bags, polish my shoes, polish my hair, and we'll see you at the conference.
Yes.
Thank you,
Stay
Connor.
We'll see you in April.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you so much,
Take care.
Connor.
Stay well.
Have
And
a
best
good
of
night.
luck with all of the planning for the conference. I know it'll be brilliant. Cheers.
Thank you so much,
Take care.
sir.
Bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
I mean, that's thank you.
Yes, District 40, Connor Caneen. He'll be with us during our spring conference, April 26th through the 28th. So please, if you have not registered to attend, you don't want to miss it. It's going to be a pretty impactful and fun weekend. I've already got a lot of gems here from Connor. I can't wait to get some more. So please join us that weekend for that. Yes. All right, friends, we are almost at the end of our episode. Is there any parting words for our viewers before we sign off for these?
Have a great night, everybody.
Yes.
Yeah,
Get
All
registered.
right.
Come ready to laugh.
Right.
that's right. Come ready to laugh.
Stay well. We'll see you in a
right.
few weeks. Bye.
Yes, take
Yeah.
care. All
Thank
right,
you.
District 40, with that, we bid you a great evening and we'll see you next month. Take care.
Good night, everyone. Have a great one.